At a public gathering, she compared me to others casually. I smiled and let it go. Privately, I improved my life, strengthened boundaries, and learned that respect often arrives only after convenience disappears. You know, David's already making six figures at his age, and he's planning a trip to Europe next month. The words hit me across the dinner table at her company's annual barbecue. I kept my smile fixed, nodded politely, and took another sip of my beer. Around us, her co-workers laughed and clinked glasses under string lights that swayed in the evening breeze. She didn't even look at me when she said it. Just continued her conversation with her manager like I wasn't sitting right there. Like the comparison was as casual as commenting on the weather. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 31. She's 29. We'd been together for 4 years, living together for 2. This wasn't the first time, but something about the public setting made it land differently. Made it stick in a way the private comments never had. I finished my beer and stood up. Getting another drink, I said. She waved absently, already deep into another story. I walked to the cooler slowly, letting the sounds of the party wash over me. Laughter, music, the sizzle of burgers on the grill. Normal sounds for a normal evening. Except I felt like I was watching it all from behind glass. When I came back, she was comparing my car to her colleague's new Tesla. I sat down and said nothing. Just smiled. Nodded. Let her talk. The drive home was quiet. She scrolled through her phone while I navigated the dark roads back to our apartment. Did you have fun? She asked without looking up. Sure, I said. Good. I think Rebecca really liked you. She said you seemed nice. Nice. The word hung in the air like a participation trophy. We got home around 11. She went straight to the bedroom to change. I stayed in the living room, sitting on the couch in the dark. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother. How was the thing? I stared at it for a long moment before typing back. Fine. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. You good? I locked my phone without answering. The next morning, I woke up early. She was still asleep when I slipped out of bed and went for a run. Something I hadn't done in months. The streets were empty, the air cool and sharp. My lungs burned after the first mile, but I kept going. When I got back, she was making coffee in the kitchen. You went running? She asked, surprised. Yeah. That's random. You feeling okay? Just felt like it. She shrugged and went back to her phone. I showered, dressed, and sat down at my laptop. Opened a document I'd been avoiding for weeks. A budget spreadsheet. Started filling in numbers with a focus I hadn't felt in a while. Over the next few days, I kept to myself more. Not dramatically. Not obviously. Just small shifts. I stopped asking about her day in detail. Stopped offering opinions on her work drama. Stopped suggesting we do things together on weekends. She didn't notice at first. Or maybe she did and didn't care. Either way, nothing changed in how she treated me. Friday night, she wanted to go out with friends. You coming? She asked while putting on earrings. I'm good. You go ahead. She paused, looked at me in the mirror. You sure? Michelle's bringing her new boyfriend. Could be fun. I've got some stuff to catch up on. She kissed me on the cheek and left. I spent the evening reorganizing the spare room. It had become a dumping ground for both our things over the years. Boxes of her old textbooks, my guitar I hadn't touched in forever, random furniture we'd meant to donate. I pulled everything out into the hallway, sorted through it methodically, kept what mattered, bagged the rest for Goodwill. By midnight, the room was empty except for a desk and chair I'd moved in from the living room. I set up my laptop, plugged in a lamp, and sat down. It felt like my space, something that had been missing without me realizing it. She came home around 2 in the morning. I heard her stumble slightly in the hallway, then her voice. What happened to all the stuff? Cleaned it out. She appeared in the doorway, mascara slightly smudged. Why? Needed a workspace. She looked around, swaying slightly. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Then she disappeared into the bedroom. I stayed up another hour, just sitting in the quiet. The next morning, she slept until noon. I'd already been up for hours. Gone for another run. Made breakfast. Answered some emails. When she finally emerged, she looked at me like I was a stranger. What's going on with you? What do you mean? You're being weird. I set down my coffee. How am I being weird? I don't know. You're just different. Distant. I'm right here. She narrowed her eyes. Are you mad about something? No. Then why are you acting like this? I could have said it then. Could have brought up the barbecue, the comparisons, the casual dismissals. But I didn't. I'm not acting like anything. I'm just doing my thing. She stared at me for another moment, then grabbed her phone. Fine. Whatever. And that was it. She spent the rest of the day on the couch watching shows. I spent it in my new workspace, researching online courses. I'd been stuck in the same job for 3 years. Mid-level marketing coordinator at a company that didn't value growth. Comfortable salary, decent benefits, zero upward mobility. I'd stopped trying to move up because it felt pointless. But sitting there in that clean, quiet room, I realized I'd stopped trying at everything. Not just work. Everything. I enrolled in a digital marketing certification program that night. 12 weeks, self-paced, industry recognized. The first module started immediately. I dove in. Over the following weeks, a routine developed. Morning runs. Work during the day. Evening courses and studying. She noticed, but didn't ask questions. Just made occasional comments. You're always on your laptop now. You're gone a lot in the mornings. Are you training for something? I kept my answers short. Just staying busy. Just running. Not really. She'd shrug and go back to whatever she was doing. We were living parallel lives under the same roof. One evening, about a month after the barbecue, she came into my workspace, leaned against the doorframe. My parents want us to come for dinner next weekend. I didn't look up from my screen. I've got a project deadline. For what? My certification course. What certification course? I finally looked at her. She genuinely had no idea. Digital marketing. I've been doing it for a month. Her face showed surprise. You never told me that. I did. You were on your phone. She frowned. When? Doesn't matter. I can't do dinner. You should go. Without you. Yeah. She crossed her arms. My parents will think that's weird. Tell them I'm busy. Are you serious right now? I turned back to my laptop. Yeah. She stood there for another minute, then left without another word. I heard her on the phone in the bedroom later. Muffled voice, frustrated tone. Couldn't make out the words, didn't try to. The certification course was harder than I expected, but also more engaging. I was learning things I should have known years ago. SEO optimization, conversion metrics, A/B testing frameworks. Stuff that was actively being used in the industry while I'd been coasting on outdated knowledge. I started applying it immediately at work. Small changes to campaigns I was running. Better targeting, improved copy, tighter analytics. Within 2 weeks, my manager noticed. Whatever you're doing differently, keep doing it. These numbers are good. It was the first real recognition I'd gotten in over a year. I didn't tell her when I got home. She was out again anyway. Dinner with friends, or drinks with coworkers, or yoga class. Her calendar was always full. Mine was becoming full too, just with different things. I started going to a gym instead of just running. Joined a beginner's class for weightlifting. The instructor was patient, focused on form over ego. I liked the structure of it. The measurable progress. Add 5 pounds. Do 1 more rep. Hold the position longer. Concrete improvement. 2 months in, I'd lost 15 pounds. Not that I was overweight before, but I was softer than I'd been in my 20s. Now I was starting to see definition again. She noticed one morning when I came out of the shower. Have you been working out? Yeah. You look different. Thanks. I got dressed and left for work. Her friends started noticing too. We went to a birthday party for one of her coworkers. I almost didn't go, but she'd specifically asked. Please. It'll look bad if I show up alone again. So I went. Wore a shirt that actually fit properly now. Showed up, said hello to people, stayed polite. One of her friends, Michelle, pulled me aside. Okay, what's your secret? Secret. You look great. What are you doing? Just running and lifting. Nothing special. Well, it's working. You should tell David. He keeps complaining about his weight, but won't actually do anything. David, the 6-figure Europe trip guy. I smiled. Yeah, maybe. Michelle squeezed my arm. Seriously, you look really good. She walked away, and I felt my girlfriend's eyes on me from across the room. She came over a minute later. What did Michelle want? Just saying hi. Looked like more than that. I shrugged. She asked about my workout routine. Her expression shifted. Something I couldn't quite read. Oh, we left the party early. She was quiet in the car. When we got home, she finally spoke. People were looking at you tonight. I set my keys on the counter. What? Michelle, Rebecca, even David's girlfriend. They were all looking at you. I didn't notice. Well, I did. She stood in the kitchen, arms crossed. Is that why you're doing all this? Doing what? The working out. The courses. The whole new routine. I looked at her directly. I'm doing it for me. It feels like you're trying to prove something. Maybe I am. She blinked. To who? To myself. The words sat between us. She opened her mouth, closed it, then went to the bedroom. I stayed in the kitchen, feeling something shift. A foundation cracking. The next week, I got an email from a recruiter. They'd seen my updated LinkedIn profile and wanted to talk about a position. Senior marketing strategist at a tech startup. Significant pay increase, equity options, full remote flexibility. I took the call during my lunch break. The conversation went well. Better than well. They wanted me to come in for a second interview. I scheduled it for the following Thursday. I didn't tell her about any of it. Thursday came. I took a half day off work, citing a dentist appointment. The interview was at their downtown office. Modern space, young team, energy that my current company completely lacked. They walked me through the role, the expectations, the growth potential. Asked me about my recent certification, my campaign results, my vision for digital strategy. I answered confidently. Showed them portfolio work I prepared. Discussed metrics and methodologies like I'd been doing it at this level for years. The CMO leaned back in her chair. I have to say, your resume doesn't fully reflect what you're capable of. You're underselling yourself. I'm aware. That's changing. She smiled. Good. We'll be in touch soon. I left feeling electric. Like I'd just remembered who I used to be. Or maybe who I was supposed to become. That night, she wanted to talk. We sat on the couch, her facing me with her legs crossed. I feel like you're pulling away. I didn't disagree. Maybe I am. Why? Do you really want to know? She nodded. I took a breath. At the barbecue, you compared me to David. Talked about his salary, his trips, his car. Like I wasn't sitting right there. Her face showed confusion. That was months ago. Yeah. You're upset about that? It wasn't just that. It was everything leading up to it. All the little comments. All the comparisons. I realized I'd become someone you tolerated, not someone you respected. That's not true, isn't it? She looked away. I was just making conversation. No. You were diminishing me in front of your colleagues. And you didn't even realize it. That's worse. Silence stretched between us. I never meant. I know you didn't. That's the problem. It came so naturally to you. Her eyes watered. So what? You've just been punishing me. I haven't been punishing anyone. I've been improving myself. It feels like punishment. I shook my head. It's not about you anymore. That's what you're not getting. I stopped making decisions based on what you thought or wanted. I started making them based on what I needed. And what you need doesn't include me? The question hung there. Honest and raw. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know yet. She wiped her eyes. That's the first honest thing you've said to me in months. We sat in silence for a while. Then she went to bed. I stayed on the couch. The recruiter called Friday afternoon. They wanted to make an offer. The number they quoted was 40% higher than my current salary. I asked for the weekend to think about it. They agreed. I spent Saturday running numbers. Looking at what this change would mean financially. The freedom it would create. The options it would open. Sunday morning, she was already awake when I got up. Sitting at the kitchen table with coffee. We need to talk, she said. I poured myself a cup and sat down. Okay. I've been thinking about what you said. About respect. About how I treated you. I waited. You're right. I did take you for granted. I got comfortable, and I stopped seeing you. She looked down at her mug. I thought we were solid, so I didn't have to try anymore. And somewhere along the way, I started measuring you against other people instead of appreciating who you are. Her voice cracked slightly. I'm sorry. I nodded slowly. I appreciate you saying that. Is it too late? The question I'd been avoiding. I don't know. She looked up, tears in her eyes. What can I do? I don't think it works like that. I don't think you can do anything right now. So that's it. You're just done. I'm not done. I'm just different now. And I don't know if we fit anymore. She stood abruptly, knocking her chair back. You've completely changed in 3 months, and I'm supposed to just accept that we're over? I haven't said we're over. But you're thinking it. I couldn't deny it. She grabbed her keys. I can't do this right now. The door slammed behind her. I sat alone in the kitchen, coffee going cold in my hand. My phone buzzed. The recruiter, checking if I'd made a decision. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. I accept the offer. Her car pulled back into the lot around sunset. I was in my workspace when she came in. She stood in the doorway, calmer but exhausted. Did you mean what you said? That you don't know if we fit? Yes. Because I compared you to David one time? Because you did it without thinking? Because it was a pattern? Because I realized I'd shrunk myself to fit into your life, and you never even noticed? She leaned against the doorframe. I noticed you changing. I just didn't know why. Because I decided I was worth more than how I was being treated. And how was I treating you? I set down my pen. Like I was fine. Like I was enough to keep around, but not enough to celebrate. Like I was the safe choice you settled for. The words hit her. I could see it. I never thought of you that way. Your actions said otherwise. She wiped her face. So what now? Now I start a new job in 2 weeks. Senior strategist position. Remote work. Better pay. Her eyes widened. You got a new job? Yeah. When were you going to tell me? I'm telling you now. She laughed bitterly. This is insane. 3 months ago, everything was fine. 3 months ago, I was miserable and didn't realize it. And now I'm not. She stared at me. Really looked at me. You're serious? You're actually ready to walk away? I'm ready to choose myself. If that means walking away, then yes. Silence filled the space. Heavy and complete. I love you, she said quietly. I know. Do you love me? I considered the question. I did. I probably still do. But I don't think that's enough anymore. She nodded, tears streaming. Okay. She turned and walked to the bedroom. I heard drawers opening. Closet doors sliding. 20 minutes later, she came out with a packed bag. I'm going to stay with Michelle for a few days. Okay. She paused at the door. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. For the job. For everything you've done. Thanks. I just wish you'd done it with me, not away from me. I tried. You weren't paying attention. She nodded, accepting it. Maybe I can change too. Maybe we can. Don't do that. She bit her lip. Why not? Because you shouldn't have to change for me. And I shouldn't have to ask you to see my worth. It should just be there. Understanding crossed her face. Final and clear. Yeah, you're right. She opened the door. Take care of yourself, I said. You too. The door closed softly. I sat in the silence of the apartment. Our apartment. Soon to be just my apartment. It didn't hurt the way I thought it would. Instead, it felt like exhaling after holding my breath for years. I pulled out my phone and texted my brother. Got the job. Moving forward. His response came immediately. Proud of you, man. About time. I smiled. Set the phone down. Looked around the workspace I created. The life I was building. It wasn't about revenge. It was never about making her regret anything. It was about remembering that I had value independent of her recognition. That respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command by respecting yourself first. I opened my laptop. Started planning the transition to the new role. Researching the company culture, the team I'd be joining, the projects I'd be leading. Excitement replaced the heaviness. Possibility replaced resentment. The next morning, I went for a run. Longer than usual. Pushed myself harder. When I got back, I noticed her toothbrush was gone from the bathroom. Some of her photos removed from the walls. Small absences that marked the beginning of separation. I didn't feel sad. Just aware. Work that week felt different. I gave my notice on Tuesday. My manager was disappointed but understanding. You've been on fire lately. Can't say I'm surprised someone noticed. I worked my final 2 weeks with purpose. Documented everything. Trained my replacement. Left on good terms. She texted me a few times during that period. Asking about bills. About the lease. About logistics. I kept my responses brief and helpful. No emotion. No hooks for deeper conversation. She asked once if we could talk in person. I said I didn't think that was a good idea yet. She didn't push. My last day at the old job was a Friday. They took me out for lunch. Gave me a card signed by everyone. Wished me well. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in years. The apartment was quiet. She'd moved more of her stuff out while I was at work. The bedroom looked half empty now. I stood in the doorway, taking it in. No sadness. Just recognition that this chapter was closing. I ordered takeout and ate alone. Watched a movie I'd wanted to see. Went to bed early. The new job started on Monday. Remote work meant I could structure my day however I wanted. I set up my workspace properly. Invested in a good desk, proper lighting, noise-canceling headphones. Made it professional. The team welcomed me warmly. Video calls filled with energy and genuine collaboration. Projects that challenged me. Leadership that valued input. I was contributing at a level I'd forgotten I was capable of. By the end of the first week, the CMO sent me a message. Already seeing the impact. Great to have you on board. I read it 3 times. Let it sink in. This was what recognition felt like. 2 weeks into the new role, she texted asking if she could come by to get the rest of her things. I said yes. We arranged a time. Saturday afternoon. She showed up with Michelle and another friend. I stayed in my workspace while they packed. Heard them moving through the apartment. Occasional laughter. Muffled conversation. After about an hour, she knocked on my door. We're done. I came out. The living room looked sparse. The bedroom even more so. Okay, I said. She handed me a key. Here. I took it. Thanks. We stood there awkwardly. You look good, she said. Happy. I am. I'm glad. She hesitated. I've been thinking a lot. About everything you said. You were right about all of it. I nodded. I know. I started therapy, trying to understand why I did that. Why I couldn't see what I had. That's good. I hope it helps. Me too. Michelle called from the hallway. We should go. She looked at me one more time. If things were different. They're not. She smiled sadly. Yeah, I know. Take care of yourself, I said. You too. She walked out. I heard them loading the car. Doors slamming. Engine starting. Driving away. I closed the door and looked around. The apartment felt empty, but not lonely. Clean slate. Fresh start. I spent the rest of the day rearranging, making the space fully mine. Moved furniture. Hung different art. Created a layout that worked for how I actually lived. By evening, it looked completely different. Better. Sunday my brother called. How's the new gig? Really good. Like, surprisingly good. And the other thing? She got the rest of her stuff yesterday. It's officially over. How do you feel? I thought about it. Relieved. Focused. Ready for what's next. He laughed. Never thought I'd hear you sound like this. Like what? Like you actually give a damn about your own life. I smiled. Yeah. Feels good. We talked for another hour. About nothing and everything. It felt normal. Solid. Monday started week 3 at the new job. I was assigned to lead a major campaign. Full creative control. Budget I could actually work with. Team that respected my expertise. I threw myself into it. Strategy sessions. Creative development. Data analysis. Every piece coming together. The campaign launched 3 weeks later. Results exceeded projections by 30%. The CEO mentioned it in the company-wide meeting. Credited me by name. Said they were lucky to have me. I sat in my home office, listening through my headphones. Feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Real, earned pride. That evening, I went to the gym. My regular session. The instructor pulled me aside after. You've made incredible progress. Have you thought about competing? Competing? Yeah. Amateur bodybuilding. Nothing crazy, but you've got the discipline and you're building the physique. Could be fun. I considered it. Maybe. Let me think about it. She grinned. Don't think too long. You're wasting potential. I drove home thinking about that. About wasting potential. About how much time I'd spent doing exactly that. Not anymore. 3 months into the new job, I got promoted. Led marketing strategist. Team of 4 reporting to me. Another significant raise. I took my team out for lunch to celebrate. They joked that I was making them look bad. I joked back that they should work harder. But the atmosphere was light. Supportive. We all wanted each other to succeed. It was such a stark difference from before. That night, I treated myself to a nice dinner. Sat alone at a good restaurant. Ordered the steak I wanted. Drank the wine I enjoyed. Watched people around me living their lives. Couples. Families. Friends. I felt no envy. No longing. Just contentment in my own company. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Hey, it's Michelle. Hope this isn't weird. Got your number from mutual friends. Just wanted to say congrats on everything I've been hearing. You're killing it. I smiled. Thanks. Appreciate it. If you ever want to grab coffee, let me know. No pressure. Just think you're cool. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind. Cool. Take care. I set my phone down. Not interested. Not yet, anyway. Maybe not ever. Right now, I was good with where I was. 6 months after the barbecue, I saw her at a mutual friend's wedding. Unavoidable. We'd both RSVP'd before the breakup. She was there with someone. A guy I didn't recognize. She looked happy. I was there alone. By choice. We made eye contact across the reception. She smiled tentatively. I nodded back. During dinner, she came over to my table. Can we talk for a minute? Sure. We walked outside to the venue's garden. String lights overhead. Music muffled by distance. You look amazing, she said. Thanks. You too. I heard about your promotion. That's incredible. I appreciate it. She looked down. I wanted to apologize. Again. For real this time. You already did. I know. But I understand it now. What I did. How I made you feel. Therapy's been helping. I nodded. I'm glad. I see it everywhere now. How I treated the people who cared about me. It wasn't just you. That's good awareness to have. Yeah. Silence settled between us. Are you happy? She asked. Very. Good. You deserve to be. She looked like she wanted to say more. But didn't. I should get back, I said. Right. Of course. I turned to leave. Hey, she called. I looked back. Thank you. For what? For not letting me make you smaller. For growing anyway. I smiled. I didn't do it for you. I know. That's what makes it matter. I walked back inside. Rejoined my table. Enjoyed the rest of the wedding. Danced a little. Laughed with friends. Left early because I had a morning workout scheduled. Driving home, I thought about the past 6 months. The work I'd put in, the boundaries I'd established, the life I'd built. None of it was about revenge. None of it was about proving her wrong. It was about proving myself right. Right that I had value. Right that I deserved respect. Right that I could choose to be better. And in choosing that, everything else fell into place. The job, the health, the confidence, the peace. I pulled into my parking spot, looked up at my apartment, my space, my sanctuary. No one diminishing me here. No one taking me for granted. Just me and the life I was actively creating. I went inside, changed into comfortable clothes, made tea, sat in my workspace reviewing notes for tomorrow's meeting. My phone buzzed. Michelle again. That coffee offer still stands. No expectations. I stared at the message. Maybe. Eventually. But not yet. I was still enjoying this part. The part where I belonged entirely to myself. Where every decision was mine. Where respect wasn't something I hoped for. It was something I embodied. I set the phone down. Returned to my notes. Outside, the city hummed with life. Inside, I hummed with purpose. And for the first time in years, that was more than enough. It was everything.